that's one of the reasons why he's upset now.
Yeah.
Because they're treating him like a guy who's been wishy-washy.
Yeah.
They're treating him like a guy who's been greedy, who they can't wait to replace him with someone else that they draft in round one. And on that point, Chris, Brett Favre, inevitably chiming in on Aaron Rodgers. I haven't heard this. I had someone send this to me 15 minutes before showtime, send it to Pete Demolitis. It's plugged into the show. So let's have a listen for the first time to what Brett Favre has had to say about the ongoing and fairly recent, grand scheme of things, dysfunction between the Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Knowing Aaron, and I think I know him fairly well, if he has a grudge, whether it be against the organization or a player or an arch rival or family, friends, he ain't budging. I don't see him coming back and saying, if this is not resolved, however, whatever the issue is, if it's not resolved, or even if it's resolved, but he feels like they got one up on him, he ain't gonna play. Knowing Aaron, he would sit. Now it's not, he would forego a lot of money.
Yeah, look, Favre knows Rodgers well.
He does.
And Favre has been on the wrong side of a Rodgers grudge.
Yeah,
Favre has done things to deserve a grudge from Aaron Rodgers. In fact, the reality that Favre and Rodgers found a way to mend fences
is amazing, actually.
Shows me that Favre is like the only guy who has ever managed to ungrudge Aaron Rodgers. Maybe I need to talk to Favre. Get some advice. See what I can do to get Aaron Rodgers not to fire an arrow at my forehead. But I don't know how Favre did it. Now, I don't know that what he said about this situation is going to get him back on the list. The Ryan Howard, marking your name down off on my list gif from The Office. But I think he's accurate.
I do
he's
too.
Right. Nobody holds a grudge like Aaron Rodgers. And so unless this gets resolved to his satisfaction, he isn't coming back.
No, and I wouldn't think Rodgers would get mad at anything Favre said there. I think Favre, that's one of those where Favre's just giving his honest take, and he's seen Aaron Rodgers in action, knows what he is. I think there's a lot of people in football that have that feeling that Aaron Rodgers is like this, and this could be real. He is the type of guy that's just, a stubborn SOB, and he might sit out football or do what he's got to do. I don't know. That'd be some decision. I mean, unlike anything we've ever seen before, really. But, I think you're right. Favre has a good feel for how Aaron Rodgers is, the wrath of what Aaron Rodgers can give out if he feels wronged. And, I don't know, Mike. I mean, really, what's in your heart of hearts? Again, we don't know, and hopefully we'll hear more info as we go forward here. But do you think Pasta and Meatball's gut is what's going to happen? Is Rodgers going to be playing for the Packers this year, or is he going to draw a concrete line in the sand?
Well, remember, we talked yesterday about the very real possibility that he'll just show up and act like it was no big deal and try to get the fans on his side and stick it to management every week, win the mob, the Maximus Commodus fight in Gladiator, where the mob is caught in the middle and whoever can get the mob on their side ultimately wins this fight. And if he can do that and then maybe next year walk away without alienating the fans, my only concern is if that's the end game, the fans are already turning on him. If he's going to implement the Steve Urkel, did I do that reaction, he better do it publicly. Now, I've heard that he's told at least one teammate, I don't know what the big deal is. Well, that's not something that you say privately at this point. That's something you got to say publicly. You got to go on Pat McAfee's show with A.J. Hawk, your former teammate, and you got to say, I don't know where all this is coming from.
Yeah.
I've been paying attention to this the last 5 days. This is nuts. I never said anything. Just like he did, he set the precedent. This is a point Shereen Williams made yesterday. If we're going to make fun of toothpaste back in the toothpaste holder, got to give her some love for this too.
Okay,
she made that point yesterday.
Yeah.
When Rodgers lit the fuse in the postgame of the NFC Championship with that comment that set everyone ablaze.
Right. He corrected it.
Well, whoa.
Yeah.
He corrected it 2 days later.
He did. You're right.
Now we're 6 days later, And it's worse than it was the last time. And it's building every day.
Right.
If you're going to go, I don't know what the big deal is. I never said any of that stuff. I don't, I got no issues. I'm going to be there. If you're going to do that, you better get on the horn with somebody and you better say so, because it already feels like it's too late.
It is. I think it is.
Toothpaste back.
Yes. And the
toothpaste holder.
Right. I'm with you. I think it is too. To me, it's all signs point to the leaks came from Rodgers' camp. All signs point to, yes, it's too late for Rodgers to correct the narrative, because this narrative is real. It's the truth. So, again, I don't know where he's going to go from now, from here. But I think it is a point here where he's going to have to say something publicly to let everybody know where he is and how he feels about the situation, if he does want to get, public opinion maybe back on his side a little bit. But because it's totally swaying over to Green Bay's advantage right now over the last few days.
I've heard that there are some folks who are suggesting that this wasn't leaked by Rodgers or his camp. Okay, let's indulge.
Right.
That
let's do that, because I thought so at first. I will be. Well, let me just say, because I know I said it maybe a little on Monday or even on Friday. I wondered too whether it was. I was one of those guys, right? Because I went, what's the point of putting this out now? A lot of the quarterback seats are already filled. Why didn't he do this? If you like, this can't come from him. But I've talked to enough people in the NFL to think that I was wrong about that. Go ahead.
Let's take a step back. Yeah. Let's just look at it without the benefit of the things that you and I have both heard from reliable sources. Let's take a step back. Why in the hell would the Packers be the ones to leak this? Because it's one or the other. It's not somebody who just happened to be in the right place at the right time when they witnessed an argument between Aaron Rodgers and Mark Murphy or Brian Gutekunst or Matt LaFleur. This is somebody on the inside who has decided to let people on the outside know what's going on. Let's just apply common sense. Occam's razor. You know about Occam's razor. We've talked about it before. The most accurate explanation for something is the most simple, the most direct, the most obvious. The most obvious is Rodgers and his camp were the ones to light this fuse, especially when you look at the timing. It's the perfect time to serve revenge on the Packers for what they did last year, the first day of the draft.
Yeah.
When they traded up to take Jordan Love. The first day of the next draft, you unleash hell on the Packers. After you've told them for 3 months, give me what I want, or first day of the draft, all bets are off. If the Packers were the ones leaking this, why would they have stopped? Why wouldn't they keep leaking stuff? See, the Packers don't do business that way. The Packers don't want this out there. The Packers are trying to find a way to fix this before it does damage to Rodgers' relationship with the fan base. They want him to be able to come back and everything's fine. They got no reason to leak this. Rodgers does. Rodgers is trying to implement what he's been trying to do behind the scenes for 3 months, which is get out of Green Bay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think everything you said is right. There's no doubt about it. Because we know Green Bay wants to make it work and they want him back right now. So you're right. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for them to release all this and cause 9 issues for themselves to deal with here, in a time period like you talked about where they're dealing with the draft and everything like that.
Just trade him.
Right.
If you're at that point, you just trade him.
Right.
You don't have to start some campaign against him. Just trade the guy.
That's exactly right. That's where, if you ask me, 2 things to why Green Bay might have done it, right? And I had somebody smart in the NFL say this to me early on. Now, obviously, I don't believe that's the case, but one, it does turn public opinion on Rodgers if they did want to start, playing hardball with him. And 2, that maybe the releasing of the 49ers trade offer and things like that starts a baseline conversation for other teams to know, hey, it's going to take here's what the 49ers kind of offered us. You're going to have to offer us a whole lot more. That'd be the only reasons, but that doesn't really make sense. And I'm with you. It seems to be way more on the Rodgers side here.
You don't need to play those games when you've got Aaron Rodgers.
No,
all you have to do is wait until June the 2nd, call George Payton, the GM of the Broncos, and say, what are you going to give us for Aaron Rodgers? And when Payton pulls himself up off the floor because he's fallen out of his chair at the prospect of upgrading from Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater to Aaron Rodgers, that's when he tells you what he's willing to give you.
Yeah.
So you don't need to play those games. And the Packers historically don't play those games. They are careful and cautious and old school, and there's nothing to be gained for them, for the team, for the corporation, for anyone to have these public fights.
You're right.
There's nothing to be gained. So it's all Rodgers. It's all his camp. And the thing is, he's got a plan that he is unfolding as he sees fit. And there's a certain fascination from my perspective to see how this guy is going to make his next move and how he will couch it. Because when you have that reputation for being brilliant, and he does because he is, what goes along with that is the reality that people are going to look at you and say, there are no accidents. There are no coincidences. Everything is meticulously thought out. Everything is meticulously planned. Everything is meticulously executed. And we're just the audience.
Yeah.
We're in the splash zone as we wait for Shamu to jump out of the water and do his next trick.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm going to be interested to see where this goes. I really am. You know, I do have the sense that Rodgers is the kind of guy that really will play hardball and be, would be willing to maybe retire or step away from the game. But also, I go back to that, man, he's at the end of his career. It's still a good football team. He's playing high level. He's playing at such a high level still. Do you really want to, forego maybe the end of your career, a bunch of great years here that you still have left, just to make a point to Green Bay and whatever else there? And, as a fan, and if I was advising Aaron Rodgers, I would say no. Please try to go back to Green Bay if that's the case, or force the trade here, but I don't want to see you retire and be that stubborn to where you don't play ball again.
Think of it this way, too. When we would prioritize the best possible outcomes for the Packers, best possible outcome, we keep Aaron Rodgers on a year-to-year contract, preserving the ability, if we see any sign of slippage, to trade him and go with Jordan Love. That's their best possible outcome. That's what they've been trying to do.
Right.
Okay. Beneath that, and this is what I'm trying to figure out, would the Packers prefer to trade Aaron Rodgers, get value for him, but have to see him play for someone else, possibly win a Super Bowl or more with someone else, or would they prefer he never play again? And they get back $23 million that they've already paid him in bonus money. They get back the $6.8 million roster bonus that he earned earlier this offseason that may or may not have actually been paid. If it hasn't been paid, it won't be. If it has been paid, they can get it back. That's almost $30 million that the corporation gets back, and they never have to see him in a different uniform.
Right.
What would you prefer if you're a Packers fan? Maybe that's a poll question.
I think it is.
Would you prefer the Packers to get 3 first-round picks and trade Aaron Rodgers, or prefer that Aaron Rodgers never play for another team?
Yeah.
I'm going to put that on Twitter.
I like it. I think that's a good one. And,
because what do you think the Packers prefer? You could make the argument, we're fine with him never playing again.
I think there's gonna be a significant vote for that, right? Because they're not gonna want to see that, and they're gonna be a little bitter towards him, and they'd rather not see him get any gratification or anything what he wants here out of this situation. I think,
and he can't prove you wrong.
No.
He can't embarrass you.
No.
He can't get Mark Murphy's job on the line. See,
right.
That's where when you don't have an owner, you got a CEO who's got to worry about an uprising from the board of directors, the shareholders, the executive committee, and there's no I told you so. If Aaron Rodgers goes and hosts Jeopardy or does whatever.
Right.
There's no I told you so. There's no way to be proven wrong.
I think ultimately, I'm going to say the 3 first-rounders wins out. I'm going to say it wins out, but I think it's going to be closer than you'd expect. Like a 55-45 type of victory, something like that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.